Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Pat's Travel Pass. Today, we are in Istanbul, trying out Turkish Airlines Star Alliance service from Istanbul all the way over to Seattle on their 787-9. Come join us. Our journey actually started in Athens, so if you want to check out that short haul video, I'll put it up in the top here. With your business class ticket, though, you get lounge access. Now, this is Turkish Airlines' best lounge, without a doubt. It's located in the central hub of their terminal. You go up the escalator, scan your boarding pass, it's all self-service, and wow, you are so high up in the terminal, overlooking everyone else that is not in a lounge, generally economy passengers. But upon entrance, you have this flight map that's very interactive, and then you turn right past the grand piano, and here we are. Food stalls amongst food stalls, seating tucked into every little nook and cranny. I mean, it really felt like I was experiencing some of their culture, especially with the aesthetic of the building. It really felt like, I was in Istanbul, which was a really cool feeling. We quickly found two seats here next to the drink cart, as well as some of the televisions watching local and international news. So it felt like that was a good spot, and I had to take a lap because, we just scratched the surface when it came to this lounge. Tons of local as well as international dishes. You have a museum here within the lounge, departure boards all over telling you when your flights are leaving and timeliness. You have buffet options in addition to all the food stalls. And it just keeps going. More seating out to the back part of the lounge here. They had soft serve, which was all at your leisure. They had a yogurt machine. They had a dessert table. It was just food galore. You really couldn't have a better offering from a business class product. Continuing on our loop around this massive lounge, golf simulator right in the middle of it, which I thought was awesome. I love when lounges have these little fun additions, like champagne bars or massages or game rooms. It just adds a little bit of fun to it. Again, more seating here. This kind of felt like the adults section, if you would. I kind of felt like I didn't belong, and I should have been more over in the younger crowd near the drink carts and the TVs and such, but it does really flow nicely, I'd say. You definitely could get lost, and it might be hard to find your party until you've made a couple food runs, but it's really different, is kind of what I'm getting at. It's not your traditional US lounge or even European, which I actually really liked. It's something new, something different, which made it really exciting. But here we are, a little bit of a snack, knowing that we're getting food on the plane. Poured ourselves some champagne as well as water, and then tried a little bit of the dessert, as we weren't too hungry coming off a meal service on our Athens to Istanbul flight. After a few hours in the lounge, it was time to make our way over to our gate, knowing that planes going to the US maybe take a little bit of extra security. So we started our way over. It was about a 20-minute walk, and luckily they had signs posted everywhere on how long it would take to get to different parts of the terminal. So for us, it was 20 minutes. Turkish Airlines does have dedicated business class lines, which was really nice. But after we went through the extra level of security, we were stuck within the gate area, and there is nothing there. There's no food, no water, no restrooms, so I definitely kind of recommended getting there a little bit later. But today we enter through the second door on the 787-9 and turn left. One of the best feelings, heading up the business class cabin, the larger one. There's a smaller one behind us. We are in seats 2A and 3A. They blocked out 1A on this flight, so it was actually basically being in the front, which was kind of cool. First impressions, it feels like the Polaris setup, where you have these alternating seats, windows, and aisles. You also have the honeymoon seats in the middle. The difference here is everything's flipped. So on Polaris, it's the odds that you want. Those are the ones closer to the window or with your partner, versus these, it's the evens. Now, upon further inspection, the seat is definitely beat up a little bit. I mean, the footrest was definitely seeing better days, but the seat was generally comfy, and the screen was nice. There was some storage here for the provided pillow, which, as always, you got to flip the cover inside and out so then you can store it and have a nice clean pillow top once you actually use it, and flip it out right side up. Provided towel, or not towel, but blanket. I was not too impressed. What I did like here is the slippers. I thought that was a nice touch to provide those. And then a bag to put your shoes. I mean, I have never seen that on a flight. Pre-departure beverage, non-alcoholic. I do kind of like that, considering you have all the alcohol choices. Took a pass through the in-flight entertainment. I'd say there's plenty of options, especially for Western options. I mean, you won't go bored on flights like this with Turkish. I do like that they provide headphones, which is pretty standard for business class. I preferred to use my own Bose headphones, but these seemed pretty comfortable when I put them on, and I think they would get the job done if you didn't have any headphones yourself. A hot towel and water bottle was presented before we got moving, which I really appreciated. Helps add to the fresh feeling when you start a nice long flight. It also makes it feel a bit fancy. Now here we are, the A350-900. This is what we actually originally booked on, and it was one of the old Aeroflot A350-900s with the closing doors. That was the main driver of us picking this product. Unfortunately, they did have a equipment swap, and they stopped flying the A350-900 like a few days before we started on our journey, so that was actually a really big bummer. Although this 787-9 is definitely one of their popular products, so we were happy to have it instead of their 777-300s, which are in their older 222 or 232 even configuration, a very outdated business class product. After departing from Istanbul to the north, we had to get comfy and kick on the slippers, off the arms, and actually use a little bit of recline as we waited for the meal service to begin. As you can see, their backpack underneath the ottoman. Pretty good spot for it, and I really appreciate a lot of storage. Now, Turkish Airlines provides you with two menus, a real food menu that has the main offering in the beginning, which comes with a lot more fanfare, as well as a la carte and pre-arrival meals. They also provide a very extensive drink list. Now, considering in the lounge, the one thing that was missing was there was no bar. All there was 2 self-service carts that tend to run out. So a lot of people were going up to bottles and they were empty. Just coming from a lounge experience where drinking wasn't, I'd say, as big as maybe Europe or the US. So I was really looking forward to tasting quite a bit of the wine, as we normally do here on Pat's Travel Pass. But we'll wait for that when the meal service begins. Instead, we will work with the amenity kit here. Love the bag type that they actually provided. It's like the kind of leathery feel. Definitely felt elevated from that standpoint, and definitely met my business class expectations with your toothbrush, eye mask, socks, earplugs, hand cream. I mean, it's all the basic amenities. Maybe would have been nice to have like a shoehorn or a comb, but yeah, I'd say this is all you really need. And using the tray table, which can be in this half function, which I thought was really nice. The crew came around with another water bottle in addition to the one that was at your seat when you arrived. And so I just relaxed while they began the meal service prep, and here we are. Nice piece of tablecloth placed over the fully extended and widened tray table. So you can see here it pops out from the front and folds over one flap, so then you have a pretty large table and sturdy. Now, Wi-Fi was complimentary for business class passengers. You had to enter your last name and your seat number, and that's all you needed. Now, bathrooms here weren't too bad. I know on Lufthansa I've had to wait quite a bit for a bathroom to open up. Here I had to go backwards to get to an open bathroom as the ones in the front were being used. So not too bad, didn't really have to wait. I love the scents as well as some of the extra lotions that they provided, but otherwise kept clean and nothing crazy. Walking back through the business cabin, you can see almost all of the seats are filled. And here we go, myself trying to fit back into the seat with the tray table extended. A little bit of a tight squeeze, but we made it. And that was easy with nothing on the tray, so if you did have stuff, it would be a little bit more difficult. Starting off with a gin and tonic and a lime, provided I really couldn't ask for anything more except for some ice. Warm nuts to complement it. Awesome touch to start off the dinner service. Let's be honest, the presentation of the appetizer along with the drink and warm nuts, warm towel, expectations are being blown through the roof right now for Turkish Airlines. I know a lot of people like them, but man, the service is great. They're really doing the extra mile. They got the cute little salt pepper shakers. We got the little light that they turn on for meal service. This was placed on everyone's tray table. Table set. This looks awesome for a business class setup. Now this was something really neat. On the bread is this tag that says it's part of the oldest bread in the world. I can't say I've had anything different, or at least marketing-wise or advertisement-wise, that, something fun, something different, something to read about history-wise. I thought that was really neat. Whether it be true or not, I thought it was a nice addition. Now this was by far the one thing I was looking forward to when it came to Turkish dining. They actually came through with the cart with upwards of 10 different appetizers. You basically just point at whichever ones you want or off the menu, and they have family style dishes that they scoop out of, and to create your own personalized plate. The only downside here is there's not really an opportunity for, I would say, seconds, but I guess thinking about it now, you don't really get seconds on other airline flights, but you're at the discretion of whatever they serve you, so you might get a small portion or a big portion. Either way, I thought it was really neat and different. My wife, though, did say that a lot of the food had the same kind of spice profile, and so if you're not into spicy food or the type of spices that they use, then it might not be as popular. Now, after our main, which I got the beef, we also had the dessert cart roll through, which was really cool. Again, family style. You basically pick whatever you want off of this trolley, and they'll scoop it out for you and create a personalized plate. So I went with the tiramisu. All right, let's take a look at the seat. All the controls here are on the right. They do illuminate when the cabin lights were turned off after meal service. Pretty much infinitely adjustable. And here we are with the bed. You do have this kind of cocoon feel with the kind of leather, velvety exterior around your seat. It definitely was a bit snug, and I would say laying down the seat wasn't too comfortable. I still managed to get a few hours of sleep. However, I could see some taller people above 6 foot having some trouble, or if you have big feet, the footwell was definitely on the smaller side. But after sleeping and just kind of enjoying being in this reclined mode, we started our pre-arrival meal, which they deemed as more of like a lunch. We had a salad here along with an appetizer. It all did come on a tray, which that part I was a little disappointed with, but I feel like that's pretty typical. Here, when I asked for champagne with my meal, the flight attendant looked at me funny and asked, "Are you sure?" And so that part kind of reaffirmed okay, that's probably why they don't offer wine, because like I already had one drink. Like maybe it's just a one drink kind of mindset. But anyways, that put 2 and 2 together for me, at least. All the meals were great, especially this one. I thought the flavor profile and size of it was awesome. The dessert was tasty. And that concluded our meal review on Turkish Airlines. And we started to make our way into the Pacific Northwest with beautiful snow-capped mountains. So to recap, here's a little look at how it is getting in and out of the seat. A little snug, I'd say, for the larger, typical American. I think Polaris has a little bit more space for United's premium product. In terms of where this ranks as an entire flight, I do think I would rather fly like a Lufthansa with their new Allegris product, or even a Swiss if you have a flying partner, or the throne seat. Turkish was good. I just think it wasn't great. I think the cabin could use a refresh, and I think they could come around offering more beverages throughout the flight, as well as even during meal service. There's just some things there that I would expect that I did get on other Star Alliance carriers that I just didn't get on this one. But yeah, definitely a decent product, but considering you can get the same pricing for all the other Star Alliance carriers like Swiss and Lufthansa, I would probably pick them over a Turkish next time, especially when going to Europe, because Istanbul is so much farther away. It's just easier and shorter on your total travel time. Now, how did we book this? We transferred $90,000 each from Chase to Aeroplan, and then booked through Aeroplan to get Turkish Airlines business class from Athens all the way to Seattle. 90,000 points plus about $70 in taxes and fees. I'd say it's an okay price, but it is standard pricing for Aeroplan, and I couldn't really find much better. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.